I don't know. Why am I like this? On a plant. Woohoo! Hi! I'm so glad you're here. Welcome, friends, to Puppet Week, Pop Culture Edition. Last year, I made 11 puppets. They were all for a high school production of A Year with Frog and Toad. Before this, I had never made a puppet. Well, I guess that's not entirely true. For a different show, I was asked to make this little guy. So I guess technically he was my first puppet, but he's a very different kind of puppet to the ones I had to make for the show. I was excited. It's a skill that I didn't have before then, and I was excited to develop it. And develop it I did. I was learning what I was doing puppet to puppet. And because this was going to be a very long project, I decided to record it and share it on Instagram, like I do everything else I make. The only difference was that, unlike everything else I make, people really liked the puppets. My account grew significantly for a small creator like myself, and it was basically all because of the puppets. I didn't share the process thinking that this would happen because I didn't really think that anyone would care, but a lot of people like puppets, and it turns out I like making puppets. And once that series was finished, I knew I was going to want to make puppets again. And I did! I did a puppet week in the fall where I made these. I tried to do different kinds of puppets, like this one, which was more of a Muppet style, and it was just good practice. He now lives with my little cousin who loves the Muppets, so obviously she had to have this guy. Then I made these, which were inspired by the Tales of the Stinky Dragon puppets. They use felt puppets for their puppet videos. I wanted to try and make the characters from my own family's D&D campaign. And the last one was supposed to be a marionette. The first attempt did not go well, and the second attempt only went slightly better. She looks cool, but she's not very functional, unfortunately. So at some point I'd love to try making a marionette again, but that's not the goal for this week. This week I'm doing pop culture puppets. Puppets that are seen in pop culture, whether they are in TV or movies or inspired by those things, but I made a rule that they can't be the show. For example, Kermit and Miss Piggy from the Muppets, they are technically pop culture puppets, but they are the whole show. Any of the Muppets are the entire show, so they don't count, if that makes sense. The whole show is puppets, so that doesn't count under the rules I've set for myself for this week. An example that does fall within my guidelines is who we're making today, which is Kayshon when he gets turned into a puppet from the show Lower Decks. I realize that is a very specific sentence, but that's kind of the whole deal. He gets turned into a puppet, and he is a puppet for most of the episode, but the whole show itself is not puppets. So that falls within my imaginary guidelines. Lower Decks is a Star Trek animated series, which is why I'm trekked out. I was never a big Star Trek person. I don't know why though. I enjoy good sci-fi. Then I was introduced to Lower Decks, and I love Lower Decks. I think Lower Decks is one of my favorite animated shows, and I think the beauty of that show is I am not a Star Trek person. I know almost nothing about the universe, and I know that the show is filled with Easter eggs and references, and even though I don't get all of those, I'm still able to enjoy the show as a whole. And I think that's a testament to the writing and the characters and everything else, and it's made me want to watch Star Trek so I can get all of those references and enjoy it even more. But enough about Lower Decks, let's talk about what I need to do today. Kayshon is like a little hand puppet with a very round head and very cute features. I already went to the store in preparation for this week and I got a bunch of fleece. Some of those other colors are for a different project. So Kayshon's skin and body will be made out of this blanket fleece, and all of the details will be made out of felt. Have I made a puppet before? Yes, several. So let's get to work. Did you know that I love you? Did you know that? Had to pop in here real quick and say I just realized that I've been wearing this on the wrong side the entire time. Does it matter? No. Now that I've realized it, does it bother me that it's been on the wrong side? Yeah, but that's okay. We're just gonna pretend it never happened. Kayshon is mostly sewn together. All that's left are the little details like his face and his little head bumps and the little sash. But I'm gonna do all of that tomorrow because it's quite late. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Hello. It's the next day. I actually managed to get quite a bit done yesterday. Let's finish up Kayshon and give him his cute little face and his little badge and his little thing. Yeah, I love details. Oh, I don't know what I did. His head is a little misshapen and I keep having to squish it back into place and I don't know if it's gonna stay that way. I also don't know how to keep it that way. So he might be a little misshapen, but that's okay because I think he'll still be cute. Our first puppet of Puppet Week is officially complete, and he looks so cute. Somebody has spotted Kayshon. Can you give you little pets? Lesson learned, Pearl cannot be trusted with Kayshon. So our first puppet of Puppet Week is complete, and day 2... I can't believe I forgot to change the day number. I know. Puppet Week day 2 is complete and we'll be starting our new puppets tomorrow. So I'll see you then.
Are you ready, kids? Oh!
It's Puppet Week day 3 and I'm ready. I'm ready, ready. I'm ready. If this is too much, too bad. I'm having fun. It's Puppet Week day 3 and today's puppet is inspired by Fairly Odd Parents. I'm just kidding, it's Spongebob. Obviously it's Spongebob, that was a dumb joke. Bad jokes aside, I love Spongebob. Like many people, I'm sure, Spongebob was a big part of my childhood, and I have the most useless cache of Spongebob quotes in my brain that is just ready to be used at all times. That I personally believe is so large that it's taking up space for more important things like anything I learned in college. And because of said cache of Spongebob quotes and references in my brain, when I had the idea to do a pop culture themed Puppet Week, I'm only slightly ashamed to say that today's puppet, or puppets, came to mind first. They're these. I don't know why they came to mind first. I don't know if it's just a sign of how loud the SpongeBob quotes and references are in my brain, or what. They're in the episode for maybe 30 seconds and never seen again. These little finger puppets are from the Wormy episode of SpongeBob in season 2, and no, I didn't know that off the top of my head. I have SpongeBob pulled up next to me because I'm going to watch it as I make these. I did guess that they were in season 2 though, and that guess was correct, so SpongeBob and Patrick are pet sitting for Sandy, and they have to take care of her many pets, one of which is Wormy. And overnight, Wormy becomes a butterfly, and then when the butterfly lands on their helmets, we get this iconic shot of what they see, and they come to the conclusion that the butterfly is a monster and has eaten Wormy, and then it gets loose, and then just chaos ensues. So the puppets come into play when he's listing all of the people he believes to be eaten by this butterfly monster, and it's Wormy, Mr. Krabs, and Squidward. And as he's listing them, he just suddenly has these adorable little finger puppets of each of them. As a kid, I thought that was so funny. I got to thinking, when did he have time to make those? Did he make those? Did he make them that day? Did he make them a while ago? Does he just have a puppet of everybody in Bikini Bottom in case of emergency? I don't know, but I've always thought it was really funny and they thought they were really cute. So I'm going to make them and have my very own SpongeBob puppets for my fingies. It shouldn't take too long because they are very tiny and they don't have a ton of detail. So this foxy grandpa is gonna put on some SpongeBob and get to work. them. They're not for you. No, my love. Order up. They are all done in one day, but they did take all day. Everybody's hand sewn, and it took way longer than I thought, especially Mr. Krabs here. His little claws took forever. Took. Do you want to come up? Okay, come on. Why do you do this every time? No, don't eat them. You're gonna... If I hold you... Oh, bless you. I don't think I've ever made finger puppets before, so this was fun. I think I want to make more, but I don't know who to make. So if you have any ideas, let me know. Well, that concludes... This was by accident, but it's the best accident ever. That concludes day 3 of Puppet Week. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow for day 4 and the start of our final puppet. I'll see you then. It's a me, and it's a day 4. And it's a day 4. I need more of this. Today we're going to be starting the biggest puppet I have planned for this week. When I was planning all of this out, I originally had a different kind of puppet set for every day, and I quickly realized that that was a pipe dream. So I cut down to 3 puppets for the week. Kayshon took 2 days, Spongebob took 1, and this one I think is going to take me the rest of the week to finish because I've never made one like this before. We're going to see how it goes. I'm not sure how I'm doing this yet, but my goal is to make a Piranha Plant puppet. I think the head shape of a Piranha Plant really lends itself to my standard puppet pattern that I already have, so we're going to use that, and I know people have made them before, so I know it's possible, just don't know if it's possible for me yet, so we're just gonna jump right into it. Woohoo! As far as structure is concerned, the head of the Piranha Plant is going to be made out of foam, which I'm also going to cut the same shape out of the red fleece that I have to cover it. Oh, I didn't get white. Well, I might be painting on the spots. The stem is going to be like a green sleeve, but hopefully it won't be super long because I'm also going to make the top of the tube to go around my arm. But I have red and green fleece that I went and got the other day at the store. I had to get a lot of fleece that day because I was getting it for Kayshon, for the Piranha Plant, and for another project I have in the future. And when the nice person at the counter asked me what I was making with all this fleece, it was almost harder to explain than when I got the fleece for the night yorb. Anyway, the tube I'm also planning to make it out of foam. So there's gonna be a lot of foam involved, which means I gotta get going because I have to glue these together outside because this glue is stinky and most definitely not safe to inhale. Hello! What are you doing? I know. So that means I have to get going because we're gonna fall down. There's a lot of foam involved, which means I have to glue it all outside because it's not safe to use inside unless you have a respirator or good ventilation. I don't have either of those things in here. So I'm going to cut out the foam and glue it together outside. Still wearing a mask. It's not a respirator, but maybe it helps with something. Before I cut into the foam, I am going to pattern this out on some paper just to make sure I'm not wasting materials. And then we'll get to cutting and gluing the foam. So let's go. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. Woohoo! Is quite a bit colder outside than I thought it was going to be. I'm gonna let everything hopefully set because I've never used this type of rubber cement, but when I went to the store, they were out of the one I had used before. If I have to go out and get a different kind of contact cement, so be it. I'm hoping this will work so I don't have to go buy something else. So I'm going to let those set, go eat dinner, and I'll check back in with you after. And I'm back. And good news, I just took the clips off of all of the pieces I had glued together and it seems to be holding. I'm gonna finish up gluing the halves together and then we will put the color on. To avoid having to spray a glue on the foam to hold the felt in place, I am just going to hand sew things together. I did sew this together on the machine because I could. And there are a few other pieces that I'm going to sew on the machine, like the head pieces. The part that goes over my arm and the leaves are all going to be done on the machine. But as far as the bits around the tube, I really don't want to glue the fleece on. The glue that I have, when I've used it in the past, it's kind of bled through the fabric and then it was kind of splotchy. Luckily the fleece against the foam, it's kind of sticky when the two surfaces meet each other. So it will kind of hold things in place until I can secure them with thread, but that's the plan right now. I'm not going to film all of that because it's going to take me a while. But basically I'm doing, I think it's called a ladder stitch. It's what I did here. I'm going to do that on the bottom of the rim and then this dark green felt circle to the top of the bottom. Top of the bottom. Yes. And in this circle, I'm going to cut a hole for my arm to go through. I am going to cut another piece to go on the inside of the bottom. I don't know why I didn't. I guess I just forgot that that was another part of it. But yeah, it's coming along really well. So I'm going to get to work sewing these things and I will check in with you in a bit. Almost all of the hand sewing is done. The head is also covered. It was a tight fit, but I think that's a good thing. There's the bottom. It's just roughly sewn at the top because it'll be covered by the rim, which is underway but is not done yet, and it's very late, so I am going to go to bed and I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, it's the next day. And that means we're in day 5 of Puppet Week. Our little plant boy is looking pretty good so far. I did quite a bit of hand stitching last night. It's not all done, but it's almost there. I need to finish hand stitching the top rim of the tube. I need to attach the tube pieces together. Oh! I need to make the mouth plate for the inside of the puppet. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that yet. I've used a few different things in the past when making a mouth plate. I've used cardboard and I've used plastic from an old bin that was broken, so I cut the lid. I just don't know if I have another bin I can spare the lid from. I'm not sure. I do have some foam board, but I do know that with time it will bend just like the cardboard did, so I'm not... Oh. What if that might work? I just remembered I have this sort of composite. I don't know what it's called. It's sturdy though, and it's quite thin. It came in the boxes that my shelves came in, and I kept the boxes and their packaging contents because I'm going to use it for something else in the future, so that might work, although I'm not sure how I'm going to cut it. For some reason, putting the mouth plate in the puppet mouth is always challenging for me. I've done it differently, I think, every time I've done it. It also needs the lips and the big white spots. I don't have white fleece. Oh, wait a minute. Aha! This is why I hold on to scraps. This material is from my oh, you know, hold it at a a distance because it's just casting fuzzy bits everywhere. This is from my first batch of puppets. I held on to it because there was enough left to justify holding on to it. I think this will be perfect for the lips and for the white spots. I mean, it means more hand sewing, but that's okay. I kind of enjoy hand sewing, even though my hand does not. With the machine, I'm going to sew the fabric into a tube, kind of like I did for my gingerbread dress. Sew a tube, stuff it, and then hand stitch it to the mouth. Oh boy. I don't think this fabric frays, so I might be able to get away with hot gluing circles of the fabric onto the Piranha Plant without having to finish the edges. Oh, I also have to paint the leaves. I forgot that. I have to paint the outer parts of the leaves darker green, and then it'll be a matter of putting it all together and seeing how it looks. And I'm so excited because it's all working out way better than I thought it would. So that's everything left to be done, and I'm gonna get to work. It's so close to being done. But I think I'm gonna give my hand a break from all the hand sewing because I know there's a lot of that left to be done. So I'm gonna stop here for tonight and I'll see you tomorrow for the finishing touches. Hello! It's the next day. All that's left to do on our weird little plant baby is to add the details. It is all constructed. The mouth plates did work. They were incredibly hard to cut, but they worked really well, so I'm glad I have some more of that for future puppets. The mouth plate, as always, for me at least, was pretty difficult to assemble. I'm gonna have to watch a couple videos on how other people do this because I'm sure there's a lot that I could be doing better. And I don't know that I've ever watched a full video on how to make a puppet. I should really do that. Otter 2's weird little video game cousin is almost done. He just needs all of the details. I need to make the lips and the little spots, and that's it. Is it? No, I have to attach the leaves too. So we're in the home stretch and it's almost done, which means Pop Culture Puppet Week is almost done, and I'm really excited to see how this one comes together, so let's get to work. concludes Puppet Week. I think he looks great. Okay, I'm glad you agree. I do think his teeth are a little wonky, but I don't think the EVA foam would have worked any better because then I wouldn't be able to close his mouth. So he just has little crimply teeth. Sorry. Well, it's true. I should have thought it through before I spoke. I'm sorry. Okay, well, I'm glad we can move past this. And as far as all the other puppets go, I'm really happy with how they turned out. Oh? Pearl does not like the Piranha Plant. But if you do, you can let me know by hitting the like button. And if you want to see what I'm doing next week and for the rest of the year, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to know when I post, hit the notification bell and YouTube will let you know. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye! What? No! We are not having this conversation. Absolutely not. You cannot eat people. Do you know him?